Hello everybody, it's Dragana from Saacibo. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. We are having jelly printing fun again, and this time I thought I'd try my smaller plate. If you have watched my tutorial on how to make your own jelly plate, you'd know that I made a small jelly plate, and I want to do some work with that one today. And I want to make little images similar to this one, like something that can go on a tag. You know, you back it up and you create a tag. It can go on top of a journal or in the journal somewhere as a decoration, but it can also be kind of like Artsy Specimen cards. I don't know. Again, we're having fun with leaves. It's autumn. The leaves are going to start falling soon, and I want to make the most of them while they're still available to me. To make it more interesting, today we're going to use some metallic paints. Like I have some copper and some gold, and for the backgrounds just some darker like red, brown and greens. I have some of these. You can use anything, but I find that the metallics like gold and copper work really well if you put them on top of a darker color. You know, you can even do black like I have here, but for me these are more like autumn colors. Brownish, reddish, and with a bit of gold, something like this. So today I want to show you how to do it in two different ways, and then you decide which one is easier for you to do. These prints, for example, look quite similar on the first glance, but this one was done in one go. I mean, you do the leaf and the background and you take the print once and that's it. While this one is done in two steps. So this is one step print, it's like two steps. And I'll show you both, and then you decide which one you like better. Apart from the paint and the small jelly plate, you'll need a brayer. You'll need something to mix your paint on. You can certainly mix your paint on the jelly plate. I don't do that. It doesn't give me good results, so I just like to do the paint here and then transfer onto the jelly plate. You'll also need some cleanup papers that are slightly bigger than your plate. See what I mean? So it's slightly bigger than my plate. And then you'll need some fresh leaves, whatever you can find. Have a look. I just picked a few that can fit on this plate, like this one. Yeah, so some fresh leaves. And you probably noticed here the difference. Like this is using the full jelly plate, and this one has a sharp edge around. So to achieve this, you need to make yourself a stencil like this one. Something similar to what we've done in the last session when we created those Fern writing pages for our journal. With this one, I used the full A5 size, which is the same size as this paper, and when I'm aligning this paper I just follow these lines. Okay, if I'm using a smaller paper, I have a smaller registration marks and I just use them. And also these ones here are for these, because these are slightly smaller than A5. That's when I do prints that have this kind of rough edge. But if you want to have this straight edge like here, you cut yourself a stencil that is A5 size, then you place it over this and you make little marks where you need to cut. And then every time you do this, you align it with this paper. Okay. And on the inside of the stencil, you draw a line of this paper. So every time you print, it's going to be approximately in the same spot. Now, to make this, I used just this. These are like separators. I had them, didn't use them, so I basically cut half of it and then cut a square around to the side. So this can be even square, it can be whatever you can cut easily. You can even use your die cut or scissors to have like a almost like a, if you have a die cut that's a picture frame, you can use that and it will give you really interesting results as well. But I'll just use my knife and I cut out a square piece there. Not square, sorry, rectangle. All right, so let's get started. First I'll show you how to make a print in one go like this one. Okay, and for that you have to start from the top. You see that the gold here is on the top, but on our plate the gold needs to be on the bottom, so that way it will end up on the top of the print. I hope that makes sense. So I'll just mix some gold here, and just for the fun of it, let's have some copper. I like when those two are kind of mixed together. And I'm using a smaller braid. Hopefully it's not going to be as squeaky as the other one. It still makes a sound, but not as bad as the other one. Okay, so we apply the paint to our jelly plate. And we pick the leaf. Oh, there's a chestnut tree leaf. I want to use this one. Just place it like that. Okay. Now we take our cleanup paper and we simply pick up the space around. Keep those. I think they're really cool. I need to clean up more of the paint. And this one we can reuse, it's not really a full print. So now we take this off. Okay, and we let that paint dry a little bit. About half a minute, 30 seconds to a minute. And this one, I can actually now place here. Although it's not going to work with any leaf because this is now up the other way around. But I'm just thinking maybe some of that gold paint that's on the leaf might actually transfer. Yeah. So we have ourselves another print. And this one's cool as well, I think. So we can still work on that. We can add a thin layer of different color on top to fill out the white area. Or we can just leave it like that. It still looks alright. So with each leaf you get one print that it's like this and one that it's like this. Okay, so I'm waiting for this to dry. I'll just grab my other palette because I don't want to get it all mixed up. And I kind of like this here, which is really dark red. It is Bordeaux, I think. There's a bit of cherry, I think. It's called cherry. Yep. And some, I think I used green or brown. I can't remember now. But I'll just put a little bit of each. And I'll see. This one is green, but it's very dark. Or maybe I'll just use this red and green together. Just for the fun of it. Okay, I'm waiting for this to dry. And while I'm doing that, I'm thinking perhaps we can print, which one should we do? Well, let's just do the same size as that, just one of those. Okay, so remember how before we would just take the print of the leaf now? Now we have to wait for this paint to dry a little bit. Then we'll put the background paint, this one, on top. And it should reactivate this paint. And then you'll be able to pull that print off altogether. but like, if you leave the paint too long or not enough, it's not gonna work. Okay, I think it's not dried completely, but let's hope it should work. So I'll just mix the paint here. Oh, it's all right, it's not lifting off. So we apply this paint and we hope it's going to reactivate the dry paint underneath. Okay, now I have to stand up now. Okay, now with this one I just try to align it with the paper underneath. Okay. And if I'm a little bit wrong, it doesn't really matter because I won't be doing reprints on this one. It's just in one go. If you have a spare clean brayer, you can use it to do this. Now remember, you have that paint, the gold paint, that's a little bit dry, so you might have to do this a little bit more than usual because you want that gold to transfer as well. And the paint is a little bit thicker in that middle area where the leaf is. Let's just see. Okay, I think it's plenty. Let's have a look. Wow, I love it. I love that red and green together with the gold and copper. It just looks so rich. I think it's really pretty. I hope you can see this. And it's got the shimmer. So that's one way of doing it. Now we need to clean up this. And maybe I can reuse this clean up paper. Even that looks interesting now. Look, has a bit of pink. These cleanup papers end up looking really cool in the end. I love this one. So this was done in that method. We'll just repeat that same thing, but we'll use the stencil. I just want to show you how to do that, and then we'll do the other method. Okay. Here again, we'll start with gold and copper. Now we're going to do this one, so we'll just take something smaller, some smaller leaf that can fit. Maybe this hydrangea. It's pretty. Just take that one and a cleanup paper. Again, press gently and rub it in. I haven't used hydrangea leaf before. I'm really curious to see what it looks like. It's really cute. Okay, we still have a bit of paint there. Because the leaf is quite symmetrical, we can get away maybe with transferring some of this paint onto this here. Basically using it as a stand. And we did it. It's good, isn't it? Okay, again we have to wait for this to dry a little bit. I'll just get one of the small ones. Okay. This comes at the end before you pick up the print, but we have to wait for this to dry a little bit. Let's do this. I wouldn't want to use my heat tool. It might melt the jelly plate. I think this is best. If you just wait, you can have a timer, for example, set it to 30 seconds or a minute. And it also depends on the weather and the temperature in your studio and the humidity, you know, all these things vary, but, you know, test it. Yeah. Okay. We have enough paint here. Really. Let's add a bit more green. I have some paint, dry paint spots there, but I'm not gonna touch them because I might damage the print, so I'm not. That's nice. Okay, now if you want to have that square edge, you take this. I've already used this one. That's why it's dirty on that side, but you want the clean side on top. And then you align it with your paper with this one. You see what I mean? And you take your paper that you want the print on and you put it inside of these lines. And then you do the usual. I think I didn't really put it properly. It's actually very hard to do it if I can't put my head above, otherwise I might knock the camera off. So when you do it, you probably won't have that problem. Okay, again we rub it really well because we want the gold paint from underneath to attach as well. See what I mean? It's so pretty. I think that would look lovely in any nature journal. Yeah. So that's the way you do it with this kind of stencil. And let's just pick up that little cleanup paper that we have. Even that is really interesting. I love it. Let's do the second method. Okay, now with this method we start with the background. So if we're going to use similar color, we'll just start with that. So we do the background first, we let the background dry, and then we do the leaf on top. And when you do it this way, you can also have fun with the background. You can maybe do a two-color background, or background with another stencil or something, you know. You can experiment. Let's just do this paper. And my marks are here for this paper. For me, this is much quicker, especially if I'm doing a few of them, because I can make a few of these and have them dry and be ready for the next step. Let's just do one on the book page, but we'll have the frame around, just so that I show you that way as well. Okay, now again I'm going to place this. Like so. I cut the book pages to the same size as this paper, that's why it fits. And of course you can have this on a, if you have a double page, you know, the one that's going to go in your journal, you can do that on one side as well. You just fold it in half and then do it. Okay, now all we need to do is let this dry a little bit, and then we'll do the leaf. This we don't need for now. I'm just going to clean this up. Have a look what happened here. And we're going to do a Gelli printing fun on that subject. A bit of a transfer happened. I used the book page and some of the text actually transferred onto the plate. So that's a useful information to have if you want to actually transfer images using your Gelli plate. And it can be done. And it's actually the right way. So it's really good. We'll do that one day as well. Just have some magazine images that I really want to transfer onto my Gelli plate. Apparently this works best if the print, original print, is laser print. If it's inkjet, I'm not so sure if it's gonna work. It's best if it's laser printed. Okay, let's get these dry. They do dry fairly quickly, but you want them really dry. You don't want them sticky. Okay. We just do this. Perhaps we can decide what leaf we want to use on this. Let's have rose. We'll have rose leaves there. Okay, I'll put that aside. And now we're going to use, again, some gold and some copper. I think those two in combination work really well. I sort of prefer to mix at least two colors together, just so that it's not uniform color. I don't know, it just looks better in the end. Place this and get ourselves a cleanup paper. That's what it looks like. There's quite a lot of paint left. I think I put too much. and I'm not wasting any of it. Nice. It even picked up some of that color that stayed. Looks really good, the second one. Okay. I think I want to use the paint that's on the leaf. It's interesting, and I love how it's not really aligned with this. Yeah, cool print. Okay, now we don't have to wait for it to dry. We just get our paper, and we're looking at these marks here because this is a bit smaller. Hopefully. So you see, if you do it this way, you can prepare a lot of backgrounds really quickly using the same color, and then you mix another color and you do the leaves. So that's probably best if you want to do a lot of prints quickly, like mass make. Wow. The transfer is, I think, much better. This picks up more paint kind of thing, but they both look beautiful, so it's up to you. If you're doing just one print or 2 or 3, maybe this method will work, but if you want to do a lot of them quickly, I think this way is better. Let's do one more on here. Okay, again, we still have the color, don't need any more. Just use what's left there on the palette. And now, because that's a smaller window there or frame, we'll use a smaller leaf. Yeah, hibiscus. Okay. Hibiscus leaf. Let's do the second cleaner. I mean, I suppose you don't really have to clean it this much like I do. You'll end up with some of that gold on the background, and that's fine if you want it there. But I just want a clearer print, that's why I'm really fussy about that. So here, again, just do that. This is not always going to work. If you have a leaf that's not symmetrical on both sides, it's not going to work, but it's close enough, I guess. Okay, now we get, where did I put it? Where did I put my stencil? Oh, it's here. Now we get this. Okay. And we frame our leaf. Is the text? Yeah, you have to watch the text when you do this. I totally missed it, look. But it stayed within, just a little bit there. That's fine. I love it. How cool is that? How cool is that? Okay, let's clean that up. and it still gave us another leaf. Almost looks like a phone screen. I'll let these dry and maybe I'll make a few things with them, and then I'll show you what they look like and what I made with them. These are the 4 prints we've done on camera together, and these are the cleanup papers for each of the prints. And have a look at these. I think they're also gorgeous and they can be used in a journal as well. Have a look at this one. I really like that one. And the gold one. And then we have this one. This one would be ideal to actually draw leaves on the inside. And then we have this one. I don't know where the third gone. I must have used it, forgot about it. So they're the ones that we've done on camera. And I also ended up experimenting this same technique but in reverse, where we actually have the gold or a copper, like a metallic background, and we have dark leaves. And I'll just show you quickly those. Something like this, but this one didn't really take well. So I've started with the background that is that color, and then I done the leaves with the darker color, just to show you that effect as well. It's really lovely as well. I like it. It's just some of those. Done a few more of these with the dark background. And I think I forgot to mention that all of these papers that I'm using are either coffee dyed or they're book pages. So apart from that, this is just the ordinary copy paper, you know, the cheap one, and it was coffee dyed. That's why it's brown. But this can be done on just white paper. That's fine. Have a look at this one. This one turned out really, really good. Okay, so there are the ones we've done together and some other ones. And then I continued to play. Then I pull the print on an envelope. Then have a look at this effect. I've started with the darker one, which is full size. Then I used that stencil with gold and then printed that. Although I did not align this properly, so but just to give you an idea. And then with this one, I've done the background with the square, but then I printed the leaf full size and it went over this, and I really, really love this effect. This is probably one of my favorites. And I just want to show you quickly how you can take this further. Like what I'm going to show you here now, they are all cleanup papers. You know, when you do the cleanup and you repeat the same process several times, you clean a few different prints, and in the end you end up with really interesting looking prints. These are all on that soft this type of paper, but I glue them onto some cardstock, just recycled packaging, so that they stay flat, because this paper gets really wrinkly. So it's the same paper, I just glued it onto a cardstock. And I think these would be lovely to use in journals as journaling cards, tags, journal toppers. As you can see now that they ended up with a lot of different colors, and I also used some stencils as well, and I really like those. They turn out really great. And I haven't finished them because I don't know how I'm going to use it. If I'm going to use it as a journal topper, I would probably just trim up the white. If I'm going to use it as a card, I'll probably do the same, but I will back it up. So that's why they're just like that. But you know, they can be used further. I mean, this one I would probably draw the lines, and a couple more that were done on just, you know, I ran out of that paper, so I just used scrap paper to keep cleaning and printing on them. And I think these actually turned out better than the original ones. They're just so rich in color and textures. I don't know, I think these turn out better. So I basically just kept adding color every time I would clean, and then if the print wasn't good, I would just do the full color and then start again. But it ended up so good. Like here there's like several different leaves, and I don't know, I just had so much fun, and these turned out amazing. And this is actually one of these. So after I printed that metallic color, I cleaned the jelly plate that had green color on it, and because it was a thin layer, just the leaf turned out green, and this changed the color a little bit. So yeah, these can be worked on further on to achieve interesting results, and these ones as well. Oh, I love this one. Okay, now I want to show you just a few things that I made with those. Okay, I turned this one into a tag. I just love this one. Have a look at that. That's the dark color on the gold background. I just backed it up with some paper, and here I experimented using the green color with gold, and it gave me this shimmering green. It's just lovely, and I've just added some labels here and turned it into like a tag or a specimen card. Now we have this one. Oh, I love this one. I actually ended up cleaning the palette with that paper, and it was really great, and then I just printed the leaf on top. I love this one as well. And then those two I turned into cards. It could be used as journaling cards, or just like a journal toppers as well. Live the dream and create beauty. Just added some words there. I think they're really interesting. And with this one here, I actually took just a black marker and I drew the lines because there were none. There was just a green leaf, and the detail of the leaf was just really fine. You couldn't actually see it, so I started drawing the lines. I looked at one of the other ones just to see approximately how it should look, but it doesn't have to look the same as the original, you know. You can do things just, you know, decorative way. And here I ran out of paper to print. I wanted to pull this print, so I had these that were meant to be postcards, and I just pulled a few prints, and I actually love the result. This paper is cardstock, and I haven't really used cardstock before on jelly plate. I don't think I have actually, and the detail is just awesome. And the paper was printed already on an inkjet printer. I just had the background page, and when I pulled that print off, it just really looked good. There you go. And then I made a little journal topper. This is my favorite of all, I think. I just love how this turned out, and this was a cleaner paper as well that I ended up printing the rose leaf here, and I just used some fabric. And have a look at this. Imagine this on a journal. I think that would be just so pretty. I think I also put a few things in the journals. Not in that one. In this one. Here. Yeah, I used one of the prints just to add on that paper. I stenciled the background and just glue that on top. And this is the one like these that we pulled off using book page. One of these with the book page. So you can actually see the text showing through a little bit, but it's not obvious. It was a book page, and I really love it, and it looks really great in this journal, I think. And so yeah, I hope you got some ideas and you got some inspiration from all of this. I don't know, I always say this, I always have fun when I'm crafting, but for some reason this was just, you know, I could not stop myself, and I ended up with so many beautiful prints. And I just now have to think about all the different ways to include them in my journals and use them and have fun with them. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I see you again soon in the next episode of Gelli Printing Fun. Bye for now.